Today's video is sponsored by Noble Gold. More on that later. So the group Republicans Against Trump tweeted this out and said, "What is wrong with Robert F. Kennedy Jr.?" Basically trying to paint the image that he is an insane person. So listen to this clip from him and ask yourself if this individual sounds insane to you, okay?
I'm going to say one more thing. They haven't done a very good job about protecting public health, but they've done a very good job at using the quarantine to bring 5G into all of our communities and to shift us all, to begin the process of shifting us all to a digital currency, which is the beginning of slavery. Because if they control your bank account, they control your behavior. And we all see these advertisements on television saying 5G is coming to your community. It's going to be a great thing for all of you. It's going to change your lives. It's going to make all of your lives so much better. And it's very convincing, I have to say. Because I look at those ads and I think, that's great. I can hardly wait till it gets here. And then, because I'm going to be able to download a video game in 6 seconds instead of 16 seconds. And is that why they're spending $5 trillion on 5G? No. The reason is for surveillance and data harvesting. It's not for you and me. It's for Bill Gates. It's for Jeffrey Zuckerberg. And it's for Bezos and all of the other billionaires.
So there's the clip, ladies and gentlemen, that Republicans Against Trump tweeted out. What's wrong with Robert F. Kennedy Jr.? Isn't he such an insane person? So let's walk through the things he said in that clip and ask yourself if literally anything he said sounds crazy, okay? So first and foremost, he talks about 5G, which I know the whole 5G thing is very commonly associated with these conspiracy theorists. Of course, it's only a conspiracy theory until it becomes true, which seems to be everything. Remember when the chemicals in the water turning a certain species gay was also a conspiracy theory until it was scientifically proven to be true? Many such other things that come to mind. But I know, the very often conspiracy theory is, oh, it's being used to spread mind control. But RFK didn't even say that. So let's tune it back down more reasonably, okay? So 5G is an incredibly strong signal, okay? I'll be honest, every time I turn on my phone, the few times I've had it on 5G, it gives me a headache. I don't know if you guys feel the same thing, but it always gives me a headache. But, considering it's an entirely new form of cellular wave and it's much stronger, is the idea that it may not be good for your health, is the idea that it may cause cancer or whatever, a totally unreasonable thing to ask? Is it? I don't think it is at all. You might say, oh, but Vince, what about LTE? What about your Wi-Fi? That gives you can't. And to that, I say, yes, that's probably also a possibility. I strongly entertain that as well. I would not be surprised if that were also the case. So don't come to me with that. I think it's unfortunate that the modern world has to be so reliant on this stuff. But then secondly, the main concern he brings up regarding 5G isn't even that. He says that all these systems are going to be used to invade your privacy. Okay, so according to Republicans Against Trump, being scared about the digital age encroaching on your privacy, which is a very real thing, according to them, that makes you a crazy person. According to them, that makes you insane. What is wrong with Robert F. Kennedy Jr.? Oh my gosh, how dare he say this? Does that sound insane to you? Because that actually sounds incredibly reasonable to me. The other thing he talked about in this clip, the one other thing, was digital currency. And he talked about, and by the way, that's entirely real. You can't call that a conspiracy theory. They are trying to 100% move us into the cashless economy, right? Look at your debit cards. They don't even swipe anymore. It's just a touch. It's a freaking magnetic, whatever it is. And then you have Apple Pay, right? You can just pay digitally. Everything is paid digitally. Most establishments nowadays don't even take cash, right? We're moving to a cashless economy. Is it crazy to be concerned about a cashless economy? Is it crazy to think, as RFK does, that, hey, maybe, this might cause problems? Because I can think of a few problems that immediately come to mind with a cashless economy. First and foremost, is the fact that when you stop relying on something physical, so this happened when we moved away from the gold standard, and especially now that we don't even care about paper money, what happens, right? What happens is money basically becomes arbitrary. They can print or make up as much, they can basically just make it up out of thin air, which is a part of fractional reserve banking, right? They basically just make up money, right? There's no really control. You don't really have to keep it stable or anything. So that's the first concern I see of a digital economy. And then secondly, I mean, a cashless economy, I should say. And then secondly, the other concern I have, as RFK brings up, is, well, we see how many times banks and stuff have frozen the accounts of conservatives and all this different stuff. So who's to say in the digital economy that it can't just be a thing where you just lose your money, right? Because if it's not physical cash, how easy it is for predatory banks or government or whatever to just take the money from you. Oh, or even just take, you know what they very often do? They don't even take your money. They just shut down your payment processors. What happens to conservatives? Oh, you're banned from PayPal, right? You're banned from PayPal. You're banned from the credit card, banned from the bank. You see how easy it is? And on the topic of the digital economy, we need to talk about your economic future in this world, because I think, as you can imagine, all of this push to cashless currency that's absolutely backed by nothing, basically out of thin air, certainly means that inflation, recession, and mass economic problems are on the horizon, which is why you need to protect your retirement and your future today with our friends over at Noble Gold Investments. Noble Gold offers gold, silver, and precious metals IRAs. Those are essentially retirement accounts, yet instead of being backed by regular stocks, they're actually backed by physical gold, silver, and precious metals. And as you may know from a study of human history, in times like these, gold, silver, your precious metals are the historically most stable assets, especially when the entire currency goes up in flames. So be sure to be protected today with our friends over at thevincedao.gold.com. Again, that is thevincedao.gold.com. Get your gold, silver, and precious metals IRAs at thevincedao.gold.com. So I listened to what RFK said, and I don't think anything there is insane. I think it's incredibly reasonable. And I know he's running as the conspiracy theorist candidate, and that's what he's labeled as. For the record, I don't think he stands a shot in the Democratic primary for that exact reason, because I mean, I know a lot of us conservatives, us conspiracy theorists like him, but I mean, really, is he going to survive in the Democratic base? I doubt it. He asks way too many common sense questions, right? But I think that most of the things he says about this particular stuff, you know, the ways he challenges the system, are not only incredibly reasonable and not insane at all, but they're actually incredibly important, because not even a lot of Republicans talk about this. He's the only candidate in this entire race talking about, for instance, another thing, the food system, right? And we talk about that a lot in this channel, how the food in this country is literally cancerous, how it is killing so many people, and, you know, how corrupt the FDA is and all that stuff, and how, a lot of the preservatives that we use in our food are literally banned in other countries because other countries deem them poisonous. But our system is so corrupt and so bought out by special interests that all you do is, oh, the FDA says this study paid for by a corporate lobbyist says that seed oils and blue too and all this stuff is safe, when it's not, right? And you think about it too, it's a double-edged sword, because when everyone eats the food in this country and becomes obese and sick and gets cancer, who benefits from that? The pharmaceutical companies. So all this stuff, it's very real. It's very real. It's not conspiracy theorist at all. It's not hippie, whatever. It is very real. All the systems in our country are corrupt. We're being poisoned in a great many ways. There's so many carcinogens in American food that are banned in other countries. And RFK is the only one talking about it. Trump isn't talking about it. DeSantis is not talking about it. Nobody's doing it except RFK. Okay. And that, in my opinion, is part of why I respect his role in this race. Now, for the record, I will not be voting for him in the primary. And for the record, as much as I would like to see him do well, I'm rooting for him kind of on the side. I don't think he's going to go anywhere in the primary. He could do something, in my opinion, actually as a Republican. He probably would stand a greater chance in the Republican Party than the Democrat Party. But let's be honest. I mean, he asks way too many questions. He's way too much of a science-denying conspiracy theorist. We know how much the liberals and the Democratic voters love their, just listening to the institutions and listening to all of that. He questions the institutions way too much. And so I don't think he's going to go anywhere in the race, sadly. But I definitely do appreciate what he's contributing to the Overton window. He's talking about things that outside of the internet, in a very niche sphere of the internet, are not talked about at all. And yet they are very pertinent issues to our country. Because in my opinion, right, the fact that the food system in this country is poisoning us all, the fact that our life expectancy is way lower than it should be in comparison to other countries, and I think that's a very pressing issue. I don't think that's a side issue or conspiracy theorist. I think, microplastics, the fact that microplastics are being found in the placentas of newborn babies, because that's how much plastic we are putting in our bodies with the food and water and all that stuff. I think that is one of the most important issues facing this country, right? But when I talk about it, you're just a conspiracy theorist. Well, now that RFK is coming along talking about it, my hope ultimately is that he can drive the discussions of these things that you and I know, but most people don't know, into the mainstream. And I hope that's his contribution. And I hope if he does not change Joe Biden, which I don't think he will, I hope the carryover, because he is so popular with the conservative base, ultimately does trickle over into Trump and DeSantis and into the Republican field. And hopefully maybe they can start talking about some of the things that RFK talks about so often. Hey guys, Vince Dao here. Hope you enjoyed that clip from the Vince Dao Show. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. And be sure to check out the Vince Dao Show live every weeknight here on this channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It is a great show. Many are saying this. So leave a like, check out our other clips, and be sure to check out the show. Yeah. God bless.